Hi Halloweenies, I'm Ozzy the Horror Cub. Take a trip with me to Santa Mira, California, because it's time to review Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. Let's get into it. That's right, today we're going to be talking Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, directed by Tommy Lee Wallace, executive produced by Deborah Hill and John Carpenter. This would be the Michael Myers sequel of the Halloween franchise. John Carpenter did not want to continue making these films. He had had enough at Halloween 2. It was Dino De Laurentiis as well as Universal Studios that contractually obligated Carpenter to come back for Halloween 2. Carpenter and Hill being done with this shape though, they wanted to kill off Michael Myers for good. This was an anthology approach to the Halloween series, very similar to what Ryan Murphy is currently doing right now with American Horror Story. This would have been groundbreaking for the time, to have an anthology about Halloween, that every story would be set on Halloween but would feature something different. For instance, Halloween 1978 would feature a serial killer stalking babysitters, whereas Halloween 3 would feature an entirely different approach. This is not a slasher film by any means necessary. Why I think this film fails is because they called it Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. Because Carpenter and Hill wanted to go off in their own direction, they came up with this dark idea of Stonehenge and connecting it to Sam Hain's Samhain in order to bring about chaos on Halloween night. The Silver Shamrock Mask Company is totally evil, and Carnal Cochran is going to try and kill every single child in the world that has purchased one of these Silver Shamrock Halloween masks. So already, this idea is 10 times darker than the original Halloween. I mean, Halloween, you've got Michael Myers running around butchering a bunch of babysitters on Halloween night. Sure, that's scary, but this is basically the mass extinction of children on Halloween night, because Sam Hain was all about sacrificing, and that's why this company, Silver Shamrock, is using the ruins of Stonehenge to bring about this doomsday plot. I love that this film really does tie back to the Celtic mythology of Samhain, Sam Hain in the Halloween series. I really do appreciate that. This is a crazy film. If you have no idea that this is a Michael Myers Halloween movie, you're gonna go into it very blind, because the movie starts with no explanation as to what this film is, or if it's an anthology whatsoever. A mask maker is basically being hunted by men in suits, and you're trying to figure out what's going on. Shenanigans ensue. He's taken to a hospital where we're introduced to our main character, Dr. Daniel Chalice. And let me tell you something, Tom Atkins gives me life in this movie. Tom Atkins' character as Dr. Chalice is basically this drunk hospital doctor who just goes around and sleeps with women. And you know what? It's an interesting concept, and Tom Atkins pulls it off so effortlessly. There's just something about him. I don't know what it is. He's got this charisma to him. He doesn't even come off as douchey, because most people, if they try to portray a character like this womanizing doctor who doesn't really care about his kids or his wife, played by Nancy Loomis, who was Annie Brackett in the original Halloween. Do you remember what I said about this being the anthology approach and they're bringing back characters to portray other characters from previous Halloween films? That's one prime example of it. Tom Atkins has such charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent that we let it all slide. Tom Atkins just charms me. I don't know if that has anything to do with the fact that I saw The Fog prior to this, and he's a ladies' man in The Fog too with Jamie Lee Curtis. Maybe that's just the Tom Atkins thing, but I'm here for it at the end of the day. Now, this gentleman that's been brought into the hospital, there's some mysterious circumstances going on. He's clutching one of these Silver Shamrock masks. Now, the man in the hospital is Harry Grimbridge, and Harry was introduced at the start of the film, and he's being chased by those men in suits. One of those men in suits comes to the hospital, kills him, sets himself on fire. Dr. Chalice is running out of the hospital to try and figure out all the shenanigans that are going on at the exact same time. And that's what really kickstarts this movie, because we get introduced to Harry's daughter, Ellie, and Ellie wants to try and figure out what happened to her father, because a couple days earlier, he had purchased a set of Silver Shamrock masks. That means that Dr. Chalice and Ellie are now going to work together to go to Santa Mira, California, disregard his own kids for Halloween night, so that they can pursue what happened to Harry, and if there's any strange dealings going on with the company Silver Shamrock. This film is a mystery ride. You're really trying to figure out what happened to Harry, who these men are in suits, Cochran, and how is this connected to the Silver Shamrock Company. It's all gonna come together sooner or later. This film is a slow build though. This film premiered in 1982. A lot of the films at that time were all about suspense, were all about that slow build to get to that payoff. Some people are going to appreciate the payoff and some people are not. Like I said, this is a Michael Myers Halloween sequel, and a lot of people, when they went into this film, they didn't know that. They literally thought they were getting Halloween 3. However, you're getting an anthology approach to the series, and that could throw you off. So if you're going into it with an open mindset, you might really like this film. Also for me, I was raised on Carpenter films growing up. So Assault on Precinct 13, Halloween 1978, The Fog. So this film does feel very Carpenter-esque to me. Tommy Lee Wallace was the editor behind the original Halloween. Tommy Lee actually got asked if he wanted to direct Halloween 2, but he turned it down because he didn't want to make a film that resembled John Carpenter's Halloween, which is why Rick Rosenthal was brought in. Tommy Lee then gets to do this film, and it crashes at the box office because people were not expecting it to be an anthology route. They were expecting Michael Myers, which is why in 1988 we got Halloween 4: The Return of Michael Myers. Notice in the marketing that they had to state that that was the return of Michael. People wanted Michael, it was just what they wanted. It was the Halloween series, it's what they had built at that time. I think if John Carpenter and Deborah Hill had done Halloween 2 as an anthology film at the very start of it, if they were to immediately start off as an anthology route, maybe the entire Halloween franchise would look entirely differently than it would today. I'm so happy that they're bringing back the Halloween 3 masks in the new film Halloween Kills. David Gordon Green, you are so amazing at doing those great tongue-in-cheek moments and capturing nuances from the previous films and adding them into this new Halloween mythology. I'm so excited about it. The gore in this film is outstanding. Special effects wise, I'm into it. For an early 1982 film, I'm here. You see, Silver Shamrock has been using pieces of Stonehenge, and they've been placing them inside those Halloween 3 masks. They're hoping that the kids will purchase these masks, or their parents will purchase it for them. They'll go home, and when the big telethon premieres, they'll be sat at their TV watching as their heads will start to explode, snakes will start coming out of them. It's vivid, it's gory. What Cochran has planned for these kids on Halloween night is truly disturbing, and we get to see that with one of the experiment families. Buddy Kupfer's family is basically sacrificed in order to show Dr. Chalice how the masks are gonna kill all the children that night. Buddy was actually invited on a factory tour with his family because he had sold the most Silver Shamrock masks. What a great reward for him and his family to be here at this factory, because now they're gonna be test subjects. And you get to see Buddy's son watch the commercial as his face is being torn apart by the pumpkin mask, as all these snakes are coming out and they're killing the family. It is absolutely wild. Now there's also a woman named Marge, and what I love is her death sequence too, because she's playing with that Silver Shamrock coin. She's trying to figure out what happened and how this fell off the mask to begin with. As she's going through the circuitry of it, the laser misfires and just starts eating away at her face. Great special effects, great practical effects. I just think that was the 80s, because whatever visuals they left on that screen were just burnt into your mind. And I remember being 8 years old and seeing that scene where Marge is fiddling around with that Silver Shamrock coin and it just starts to eat away at her face, and I couldn't believe the damage that just left her in. Seeing the spider just crawl out of it, it's horrifying. I live for what they did with this film. It was something different, it was something new. Obviously it didn't pay off, but this film has become a cult hit. A lot of people are going to tell me that this film is just too slow for them, and I get where you're coming from. Early 80 films did tend to build towards that suspense, but if you can hang on, and if you can go with this Michael Myers-less story and go on this crazy route about Celtics, Samhain, and Stonehenge, and the Silver Shamrock Mask Company, I think you're gonna have a great time with this film. For me, this film is a solid 7 out of 10. I watch it every single Halloween, it's part of my lineup. I love it because A, it's set on Halloween, B, it's got Carpenter music with it. Carpenter working with Alan Howarth again from part 2. Alan Howarth would actually go on to score the film tracks for the Halloween series until Halloween 6, the producer's cut. Love, love, love the Silver Shamrock theme. 8 more days till Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. The fact that they used London Bridge, a song that we're all synonymous with, and they built the Silver Shamrock theme into it. I mean, it's pure nostalgia. It's in my head, I can't get it out of it. Are you a fan of Halloween 3? Let me know down below. Is this the route that the future Halloween sequels need to go in after Halloween ends? I need to know what your thoughts are on the future of the Halloween series. Will we ever get to see another anthology film again? Are you a fan of seeing an anthology film? I think if it was called Season of the Witch, a lot of people would have had a lot more fun with this movie. However, you're calling it Halloween 3. We had just gone into Halloween 2. We know Laurie, we know Michael, we knew these backstories of Dr. Loomis. We wanted more of that. We didn't get any of that. We got this story, and you're either gonna love it or you're gonna hate it. Let me know down below what your thoughts are on Halloween 3. Well, Halloweenies, that's all the time that we have for today. Hit that like button and subscribe to all of our future content. Until next time, stay spooky.